Good afternoon and happy Thursday. I'm Kara Rucker. After a nightmare of blizzard conditions in Buffalo, New York, residents trapped at home for nearly a week are finally able to leave their houses for groceries and necessities. This is your midday rundown aimed down the middle with Straight Arrow News. Buffalo is slowly cleaning up after its most deadly storm in generations blanketed the city and killed more than 30 residents. Roads were unable to be driven on for 6 days, but the driving ban has been lifted today as crews work endlessly to clear several feet of snow.
We still have a ways to go, but we have come a long way in just a couple of days. This will allow our residents to get back to work, allow them to get to supermarkets, pharmacies, and to get to medical appointments.
With temperatures set to reach the 40s today and 50s tomorrow, officials are also watching for possible flood conditions in Buffalo as the snow melts away. But residents are relieved the worst seems to be finally over. Americans are feeling more optimistic on Ukraine's position in the war against Russia and in turn feel better about President Biden's efforts in aiding Ukraine. That's according to a new poll. Nearly 1 out of 3 Americans now believe Ukraine is winning the war. That might seem low, but that's up from just 14% in June. In 6 months, support for Ukraine grew nearly 20%. Now it's flipped with 14% believing Russia is winning. 41% of Americans rated Biden's handling of the Ukraine invasion as excellent or good. That's up from 31% in June. But still a close 39% disagree with how he's handling the war overseas. The poll was conducted as the U.S. passed the defense bill, which includes $45 billion of additional financial support for Ukraine.
We're going to continue to help Ukraine succeed on the battlefield. It can succeed in the battlefield with our help and the help of our European allies and others. So that if and when President Zelensky is ready to talk with the Russians, he will be able to succeed as well because he will have won on the battlefield.
Disgraced TV star Bill Cosby is planning a comedy tour in 2023. The 85-year-old was convicted back in 2018 of sexual assault. After serving 3 years in prison, Pennsylvania's highest court threw out the conviction and he was released last year. 60 women have accused Cosby of sexual assault since his initial trial, with more sexual assault lawsuits filed as recent as this month. It's not stopping Cosby from returning to the comedy stage, calling this his comeback tour, where he says there is much fun to be had. Cosby is said to be planning the tour for a spring or summer start of next year. Exxon is suing the European Union after authorities said oil and gas companies would have to hand over a portion of what the EU considers excess profits. Energy prices in Europe rose sharply this year when its gas supply was restrained by Russia. With the lack of supply but high demand, companies like Exxon hiked their gas prices. The EU imposing a windfall levy on energy companies' high profits, demanding they hand over 1/3 or more of excess profits. Exxon argues the EU proposal is a direct income tax and is asking the court to remove the windfall levy policy. A cold snap in Texas wasn't just hard for people to bear, but hundreds of bats went into hypothermic shock because of the icy conditions. The good news is the Humane Society of Houston was there to nurse 1,500 bats back to good health. The bats were so cold the little mammals were falling out from their roosting habitat under city bridges. They were scooped up and revived in warming incubators and given fluids to survive. Now they're being released back into their natural habitat since temperatures in Texas are back in the 70s.
You know, a lot of people think you get attached and you don't want to release them. It's the exact opposite. You're attached, but you're so happy to see them out where they're supposed to be and free. It's just, there's no feeling like it.
A happy ending to close out our midday rundown today. Thank you so much for watching Straight Arrow News, where we strive to deliver journalism without agenda. From the heartland of America, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.